With the introduction of the Fennec into Modern Warfare with Season 4, the choice of SMG in Warzone has been shaken up a little bit. There's a new contender on the block. We all know that the MP5 and the MP7 have basically been the go-to SMGs since Warzone launched, and rightly so, both of them being really good weapons with specific use cases. But now the Fennec has come along, there's this debate raging about whether it can enter that class of really good SMGs. Is it one of the best? And then again, which SMG should you be running? And we're going to answer that in today's video. If you're enjoying these Warzone videos on the channel, then please consider dropping a like to let me know. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button now, and more Warzone videos will come your way. Okay, so let's start with the Fennec since it's the new kid on the block. No doubt you've heard about its highlight feature, the lightning fast rate of fire. Coming in at close to 1100 rounds per minute, the Fennec is one of the most lethal weapons in the game when it comes to damage per second at close range. But you only get that damage per second at close range. Anything outside the 17.5 meter range and your bullet damage is going to drop really fast. Beyond 26.5 meters and the damage per shot goes down even further. Now, a stock Fennec, it only comes with 25 round magazines as well, which you can empty in just over a second. And that makes the window of opportunity with this gun very small. You can open up that window a little bit by adding the 40 round drum mag, which I highly recommend, and that gives you more bullets to hammer down range at an enemy that's maybe pushing up on you. So this is my Fennec build right here. I've gone with the 18-inch deadfall barrel, and that integrates a suppressor onto a longer barrel, and it saves you an attachment slot. It doesn't give you quite as much extended damage range as the 16-inch barrel and the ZLR Saber suppressor together. It's about 1 meter less damage range, but saving an attachment slot is important, and when it's only 1 meter less damage, I think it's a trade-off worth making. 40 round extended mags, as I've already said, really important for this gun, and then the Merc foregrip to help further with recoil control and improve the hipfire accuracy. And you're going to be doing a lot of hipfire with the Fennec, as it's almost exclusively a close range weapon. Then we've got the 5mm laser for faster sprint to fire speed and some even greater hipfire spread decreases, and lastly, the sleight of hand perk. The Fennec has the longest reload time of any SMG in Warzone, and that completely contrasts to how fast it can fire its bullets down range. So reducing that long reload time, especially with the heavier 40 round extended mags, that can really help you get back into the fight faster and combat anybody who might be pushing your position. Next we have the MP5, and this for quite a while now has been plenty of players' #1 option SMG. The MP7 at the start of Warzone was considered the king, but it was quickly overtaken by the MP5 as players realised the power that it held in close range encounters. I'd pretty much call it the classic SMG. It's got great mobility, decent power at close range, and relatively good hipfire statistics, and it barely has a downside. As it's an SMG, it does suffer from greater damage drop-off, so you're not going to be beaming people across the map like it's a Grau, but at close range, the stats make it very easy to understand why so many people are using this thing in Warzone at the moment. This is my build here for the MP5. I've optigrated for the monolithic integrated suppressor barrel, once again freeing up an attachment slot by not having to have a muzzle attachment because I've got that combined into the barrel attachment. It gives you a very small boost to damage range, and that gives you a bit more room if a gunfight is more slightly extended. Say an enemy runs out of a house and you want to keep on shooting them, that's going to help you here. 45 round mags are a must. These again, they widen the margin for error with the MP5, giving you more bullets to fire down range, so if you miss a few here and there, you should have some spare when your aim comes back on target. Then we've got stippled grip tape. That comes in for increased sprint to fire speed, snapping up those reaction times when using this weapon, something really important in close quarters gunfights. Then the Merc foregrip again, another great attachment that plays to the MP5 strengths. It gives you better recoil control and hipfire accuracy when you want to spray someone down inside a building. And lastly, the 5mm laser, again for tighter hipfire spread and even faster sprint to fire speed. This is a properly aggressive loadout, and it's built to take advantage of enemies in close range who just aren't ready to react to you. You can get a lot of damage dealt in a short space of time, and this weapon is already lightweight enough that movement speed shouldn't be an issue for you. This kind of build excels in Warzone and in standard multiplayer as well, so if you play standard multiplayer, set it up like this, and you should have a pretty good time. And then we come to the MP7, the last weapon here. This is a weapon that I've personally really enjoyed using since Warzone first launched because of the slightly extended range that this SMG has over others that you can choose. It's not the longer range powerhouse that the Striker 45 is, but it kind of sits somewhere between the MP5 and the Striker. And if you kit it out right, you've got an SMG that can help you at close range, obviously, but will still hold its own if an enemy is perhaps trying to escape, and that opens up the distance a little bit. So this is my MP7 build, and it is built for slightly extended range and accuracy to help land those longer range shots. The monolithic suppressor, that comes in first. It slightly increases damage range and obviously suppresses the sound of your gun, but the damage range increase is only by a meter or so, but with SMGs like this, I guess any damage range increase is going to help you. It also keeps you off the minimap when firing, which of course is extremely helpful later on in matches when that circle is getting smaller and smaller. Next up, we have the FSS Recon Barrel, and this is the attachment that's going to help boost longer range in the biggest way with the MP7. The Recon Barrel not only gives you a damage range increase, but it also increases bullet velocity, which, as we know on SMGs, is much slower than assault rifles or light machine guns. So by increasing bullet velocity, you won't have to lead targets as much. And normally, when you talk about leading targets, you'd be using like a sniper rifle or a light machine gun, something that can really push out into the longer ranges, but an SMG is never going to reach that far even in the first place. And so leading targets is something that you have to do in the mid-range with an SMG. The MP7 gets quite a sizable buff when you use that Recon Barrel. Then the Merc foregrip, again making an appearance. It helps with recoil control and hip-fire accuracy for those pushes onto enemies that might be close by. And then we've got 60 round mags. This attachment is where the MP7 goes from being exclusively a close-range SMG into something of a close to mid-range assault rifle-like weapon. It's not an assault rifle, but you can start to use it like one. Backed up by so many more rounds, you can keep your sights trained on an enemy for longer, keep those bullets firing down on them until they're downed or killed off. This is something that the MP7 really holds over other SMGs in the class, and if you're facing off against multiple enemies, 60 round mags is really going to help you combat them because you won't have to reload in between switching targets. And then lastly, I've opted for stipple grip tape for better sprint to fire speed. Sometimes you are going to be using the MP7 to push up on people, and you need to react fast if an enemy appears and then starts taking aim at you. So then, of the three, which of these is best for Warzone? Well, taking into account the extended ranges that you can operate at in Warzone and the amount of players that you could possibly come into contact with during a single gunfight, I'm going to say that the MP7 is probably your best overall option if you balance everything out. It offers the longest damage range of the three, it has 60 round mags as an option, which is vital when you're playing in trios or squads when multiple enemies start engaging on you, and it has great recoil control when you're aiming down sights as well. It's very controllable as an SMG. However, if you are more of a solo player, then I would recommend the MP5. Solos is a more campy experience in Warzone. You are going to encounter players hauled up in buildings, holding angles, and when they realise that you're sneaking up on them, engagements will be a lot closer range overall. The MP5's great hipfire accuracy and damage per second is going to massively benefit you in solos. And then for the Fennec, well, it's not bad in Warzone, and I have had some good rounds using it, and I've won a couple of rounds using the Fennec, but because the gun is so clearly geared towards ultra close range combat, it is next to useless at anything else. The rate of fire, I will say, is a massive bonus. If an enemy is right on top of you, you can obliterate them in next to no time, but The reload time, even with sleight of hand as a perk, that is a big drawback, as you are going to be reloading quite a lot. So in conclusion, I'd recommend the MP7 for slightly longer range and matches in trios or quads where you've got multiple enemies to think about, and then I'd recommend the MP5 for close range exclusively and if you like playing solos. Thanks very much for watching today. I hope you learned something. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider hitting that subscribe button and drop me a like as well to let me know that you enjoyed the video. There's some more Warzone videos linked on the screen for you right now, so if you want to watch some more, go ahead and click on them. And I'll catch you all in the next one.